Hey guys, so the first thing that you want to do when you're making vegetable sourdough flatbread is cut up some vegetables. So I'm just using vegetables that I had growing in my garden. I had this really long, huge zucchini, and believe it or not, I made 3 of these flatbreads so far, and I'm still not out of the zucchini. You can use whatever you want, whatever you have at home. I used zucchini, bell pepper, chives, basil, and dill. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop up some of the zucchini smaller than the others because I'm going to put it in the dough. And the rest I'm just going to marinate in some orange juice and put it in the fridge. These are the ones I'm going to add directly into the dough because I just have so much of this zucchini and I'm trying to eat more vegetables anyway, so here you go. I fed my starter about 4 hours before I filmed this, and look at it, it's bubbly, it's thick, it's ready to make dough. So what I did is I added a half a cup of my starter, 3 cups of bread flour, and 1 cup of warm filtered water. And if it's too dry, you could add a little bit more water. I think I ended up adding maybe another 1/4 cup water in the end. Then I just added as much olive oil as I felt like it and some salt. And the olive oil just makes the crust it's just more crusty, you know what I mean? I added basil, onions, and some zucchini inside the dough. And I know it's unclear with those recipes exactly, so I will leave it in the description of this video. You have to stir it up real good and then mold it. This is the first mix, right? So I don't know all the proper words, okay? I'm just learning the sourdough stuff. I've been at it for about 2 months. So I'm just going to mush it all together with my hands, basically, after I stirred it with a fork. And that's you're going to start fermenting it, right? So I covered it with a paper plate because I didn't know where my bread towel was. And I let it sit for a couple hours, and then I came back and I did stretch and folds again. And I did them about 3 more times this particular day, and then I went to bed. And in the morning, it's risen good enough, and it was ready to make bread. So here we go. So I'm going to preheat my oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Then I'm going to line this, my baking pan with parchment paper, dump it out, and then I'm going to spread it out the shape that I want with my fingertips. And it was kind of rough because the parchment will stick to it and then it starts to collapse into itself. So there's a lot of molding. But all in all, this didn't even take 10 minutes to do. But anyways, then before I pop it into the oven, I'm going to add more vegetables to the top of it, another drizzle of olive oil, and another sprinkle of salt. And I'm going to cook it at 450 for 15 minutes. Then I'm going to lower it to 420 and cook it for another 15 minutes. And then let it rest in the oven for 10 minutes and then take it out. And then, of course, let it rest for like an hour or 2. Because you don't want to cut it too soon, and it's ready. I like to put avocado on top with a little pinch of salt. You know what else is really good? Hummus. And my husband bought some tzatziki sauce. That was so good. But this is just my favorite, easy, super cheap thing to make. All you need is your sourdough starter, bread flour, and if you garden, just pick some vegetables out of your garden or buy some at the store. It's really not a big deal what kind of vegetables you use. But I gotta tell you, because I totally forgot I had the dill. I planted it in my raised garden bed just to keep, because you plant certain herbs, and it's supposed to keep rats and birds and cats and stuff away from your important vegetables. I totally forgot it was there, and then I was trimming my zucchini plant leaves, and I was like, oh yeah, there's dill. But anyways, if you get your hands on some dill, that really kicked it up a notch, this bread, I gotta tell you. The dill, the fresh basil, and the onions, olive oil, and salt inside the dough. So good. This bread was perfectly crispy, it just made eating vegetables absolutely delicious. And you could use this recipe for the dough to make a, you could put pizza sauce and cheese on it, whatever you want. Anyways, thanks for watching.